If this is our modern day raunchy comedy standards, we're screwed. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing No Hard Feelings. What's it about? Pretty simple premise. Have you seen the trailer? Then you know the movie. Jennifer Lawrence's character got her car repoed and she's an Uber driver. However, now she needs to do other stuff to get this Buick, have sex with this 19-year-old to save the mother's house. So, to like this film, I just remember watching an arena interview with Jennifer Lawrence saying this movie's going to offend everyone. You need to offend everyone because we're in this territory. If this movie offends you, you need to get out of the house and realize what the real world is like. So there's nothing in this movie that's freaking offensive. I'm just literally grasping for straws. Like, okay, I've seen a lot of this stuff in 80s comedies before, 90s comedies before, 70s comedies before. That's like even more raunchier. So if you're trying to say this is trying to go into that realm, you kind of failed. But as a movie itself, it's fine. There are some good, funny moments, some shock value, especially with this nudity fight scene, if you want to put it that way, when it comes to skinny dipping. And it's just a decent rom-com movie where you're like, okay, there's a good message in here somewhere, but then also a message that you're like, what are you trying to say? But let's talk about the positives. I think Jennifer Lawrence does a good job in this movie. Actually, everyone does a good job what they're supposed to do. You have the helicopter parents to do a good job. Jennifer Lawrence, the main guy, he has a 3-letter name. I know he was in High School Musical, the new ones. Don't know his name totally. Garth, I think, is his middle name. I'm an idiot, okay? Sometimes Broderick does a good job as the helicopter parent. And then the friends are also just a fun characters overall, even though they're kind of annoying on some levels where you're like, okay, just shut up. Just shut up. It's okay. And then there's this scene. So that's fine. The story itself, you've seen it a million times before, kind of a rom-com. Like, oh, am I going to fall for you? Oh, I realize you're lying to me. Oh, I'm going to revenge you. Blah, blah, blah. You've seen it a million times before. There's just stuff in the movie now where you're just like thinking about it when you leave the theater, like, what? Like, there's a scene, you've seen the party scene where she gets throat punched, right? Well, that's supposed to be a high school party. And I just think it's funny where the parents are like, we're going to call the cops on you. But how many underage drinkers do you have in this house? So Jennifer Lawrence could have been like, okay, let me just call the cops on you. Because how many people, you're facilitating underage drinking. So you're just like, that's some weird red flag things where you're just like, okay, that makes no freaking sense in the movie. Also, the scene where they're just like, these influencers are like, oh, what do you mean have sex with both of us? Like, what? It's like, that's nothing homophobic about that. And they're like, oh, are you being a homophobe? It's like, what are we talking about? So there's this stuff in this movie where you're just like, I don't know what you're trying to say. Also, there's a point where the couple that's pregnant is like, we got to move to Florida because shit here is just too expensive. We can't afford a house. Please tell me how you could still afford a house in New York. There are people that literally were living in California, moved, I know it's not New York, but same kind of tax laws, moved to Florida, making $20K less a year, but still cheaper overall. Okay, that's all I gotta say. And if you're in this fancy schmancy town in New York, And the whole thing about, it's too expensive to live there, so you go to California instead. Yes, I know that California was kind of your dream state, but if you're trying to go to New York to California to, I don't know, save money, you're smoking crack. You're smoking freaking crack. Okay, so the full frontal scene with Jennifer Lawrence. I'm calling it full frontal, but it's in the dark. Do you see her boobs? But I would say her crotch section, you really don't see anything. So I'm not going to call it true full frontal, but it is a full frontal fight scene, which seemed a little bit awkward, honestly. It's like, okay, what are we trying to do here? But it is understandable to a fault. I'm just thinking about this movie as a whole. It's a fine mid movie. I expected way more laughs, honestly. I came out of the movie and go, yeah, it's a good story. I've seen this story before, but it does add a little bit of funness to it. It's fine. It's fine. The Robert De Niro, it's fine. That's a horrible Robert De Niro. What am I doing? So overall, no hard feelings. It's a fine rom-com comedy. I'm not calling it raunchy because nothing in this movie was like, oh, disgusting. Like, the Farley brothers with There's Something About Mary. There's nothing that raunchy in it. So if you're expecting that raunchy, it's not. It's a pretty safe R-rated rom-com comedy. So No Hard Feelings will receive a 3 out of 5 with Futons because that's 60%. So see the critics' review scores gave this one. To have critics a 67% with 140 of them, audience score 88% with 250, critic consensus. This raunchy comedy often plays it disappointingly safe, but Jennifer Lawrence's comedic and dramatic chops ensures that the end result prompts no hard feelings. Sure, that's fine. We'll give it to you. And the actor's name is oh, it's not Garth, it's Barth. Andrew Barth Feldman. Chase Hawk with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Futon, Tope, you Futons. Think about a great day. I don't care if you watch this today, tomorrow, a month from now, a week from now, a year from now. I love every single freaking one of you. Was this safe for you, or were you fine with it? Let me know in the comments below.